Hello there, everybody. Welcome to a sequel to a thing that actually will have video on it this time. This is the intro to that thing, and now I'm gonna start the video. Oh, isn't that lovely? It's a lovely mobile footage. Listen, poverty is like this. Anyway, uh, this is something that I do in my spare time a lot. I'm going to start playing if you don't mind. None of this really matters. I'm not going to talk about the game much because it's not very interesting. But this is just something that I do a lot that takes a lot of time and doesn't require a lot of attention. And so I figured, hey, why don't I talk about stuff while I do this, and that way, I can get two birds stoned at once. Oh, already we got to restart. Try again. Uh, yeah, I will introduce the game just a little bit because I didn't really do a good job of that last time. This is Payday 2. I got the version that you download on Xbox One. It was free with the Game Pass, which I got at one point, and somehow I still have this, even though I'm pretty sure I don't pay for that anymore. But who knows? Don't tell anybody about that. Um, Basically, I can't justify why I've spent so much time in this game, and we've got to be approaching like in the 100 or so ish hours of playing this. I think since I've originally gotten it, uh, I I can't explain why I've spent so much time on this game. Because it's mostly just incredibly boring, and there's really nothing to it. You're just a bank robber, and you rob banks and you rob other things. This is a bank. You can be a few different characters. I'm playing as famous movie star John Wick, not to be confused with famous movie star Keanu Reeves. Of course, I said John Wick is a movie star. He's, of course, a famous assassin. He's just robbing this bank. Um, there's no real reason for him to rob this bank. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's set, but he's doing it, and he's done it a lot, and I think he'll do it a lot more times. So I figured, why not bring someone in on this? We'll bring you in on this. That's what you are doing right now. Is you're now in on this bank robbery with me. So here we are. We're gonna get things started and put the key card in. We're gonna kill this guy because he's in charge of the cameras. Blah blah blah. Answer the pager. Yeah, all you do here is kill all four of the guards, and then it's a cakewalk, and you can't lose. And that's the part of the game that really drags on. But it's the early part of the game here, which is actually the most annoying, and it's the part that I usually have to restart a few times to get it right. Um, if someone notices you, you lose the stealth bonus, and the game basically changes completely. And so usually at that point, I don't even bother with it. I just restart it and do it again. And since there's no real penalty for restarting, despite except for an enormous time sink, I usually just do that. And so here we are. This is me playing this and talking about stuff. So there was something I specifically wanted to talk about this time, which was taking breaks. Specifically, I kind of wanted to touch on that topic and how it relates to me and how it relates to my content, my, quote unquote content, um, and just basically, oh, come on now. Oh, geez. He didn't detect me. That's good. That's a bug. A lot of things distracted me there, and I just didn't notice what was going on. Sorry about that. I might be a little bit of a noob. So anyway, there's that. Oh, that guy's dead. That's fine. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk about taking breaks. Something I do a lot. It's something I'm doing technically right now. I'm trying to make it productive, but it's something. Right now I'm not working. I'm definitely not making any money. I'm just playing a video game and really not even enjoying myself. Like, I don't think that's the first thing I kind of want to get into is that when you're taking a break, I don't think it's even necessary to have something that you're doing that you enjoy as much as it is that to just have something to do that occupies your mind in a way that's like sort of different. Where's this last card? Ay, ay, ay. This is the boring part. And that's why a lot of times I'll find myself getting really into little time wasters like these that are like very time intensive and they require a large time investment. And it's not very like rewarding on its surface, but it's still like having done something that takes that much time is actually kind of like makes me feel cool. Yeah, like I'm like a cool like I did something, like I accomplished something, even if it's not really that big of an accomplishment. It's kind of nice. You keep walking, sir. You, sir, keep walking. Thank you. So that's kind of what I do with stuff like this, and the main reason I'm procrastinating right now is because or that I'm not procrastinating, taking a break right now is because I have like the thing I want to do, the thing that I'm working on, and I mentioned it in the last video. Is it's not very intensive, like work intensive at any one particular point. Here you go. That was nice. That was a good timing. Put this in here. It's not very work intensive. There are no parts of it that are specifically difficult. But, oh, excuse me. There's just a lot of gas there. No part of it is particularly difficult, but at the same time, I'm at the point now where I actually have to put in effort, and this is the hardest part of the project, is deciding whether or not it's something I really want to do. So I'm really just taking this time to kind of mull it over and think about specifically what I want to do and how I want to do things, and that's kind of like the whole idea behind procrastinating in the first place and taking a break, is that you want to give yourself a distraction, something that you can, just do that is completely different from what you were doing, and it kind of like it's like a nice little stretch for the mind, a brain flex, if you would, and it can be helpful because like right now I'm talking about a lot of different stuff, and do I have an ulterior motive? I won't deny it. I mean, it's kind of, I realized that it wasn't that difficult to talk for 40 minutes during this mission yesterday, or not yesterday, but the other day. And so I figured, why not do it again? Got 45 minutes of content out of that one. Maybe this time, if I put a video on it, someone will actually watch. Who knows? It could be a thing. But yeah, this is the part of the game where we have to wait, you see, because this thing takes another 180 seconds, and all we're doing is waiting for it to finish. And sometimes it'll break, and then you have to hit it. And yeah, so waiting for the drill. But this is nice because while I'm watching this drill progress slowly, I can also think about other stuff, and I can also talk about other stuff. Oh, here it goes. No, it didn't work when I hit it. I have to do stuff. This little white circle is literally the bane of your existence in this game. Your entire experience is spent waiting for it at one time or another. So I take breaks, I think about other stuff. I'm thinking about this website that I'm designing, this webpage, that I'm designing, and whether or not it's truly going to be the proper, if it's gonna do justice to my vision of what I want it to do. And it's not ambitious, at all. I won't spoil it because I don't know. I don't really have a reason to not spoil it, but it makes me feel better if people don't know about it, because then if I Sorry about that. There was a little audio glitch there. Hopefully I can fix that. Gosh, that was at 9:30. Remember that. And gosh dang it, this drill again. So I feel like if I don't spell out what it is, then people won't be upset if it doesn't happen. And I use the word people very generously because I know nobody actually watches my channel anymore, but that's okay. They don't have to. You don't have to. If you're watching this right now, you could turn it off, and I would not lose sleep. But regardless of if people actually are watching it, and seeing what I'm doing, I kind of want to have at least a certain level of something here, you know? Like, I don't want to, I felt really bad when I was making those Dwarf Fortress podcasts, and the, OBS would drop frames, and I wouldn't notice it for a little while, and I didn't want to throw away the footage, and I didn't want to put out something that looked really stilted and janky, and I would still say that I'm not fully satisfied with what I put out, but I am still, at least, I stand by those videos for what they were, for what they still are, and for what this video is, which is just a foray into this whole beautiful world of ours right here. And so yeah, so because of that, I want to make sure, like I'm getting back to my point, I want to make sure that my new thing does justice to what I want it to do and what I think my standards should be. And it's kind of hard to say what the answer to that will be before I start actually putting work into it. And I'm very cautious, and I'm very, obviously I'm not very attentive, and I don't work very hard, but, I'm just not sure exactly whether or not it'll all work out, and I don't know if I should throw myself into it yet. But I suppose at some point I will have to, and that point is coming up very soon. In fact, that might come up today. If I start putting real work into this, then I'll probably, that'll be a new chapter. It'll probably be really, really real coming out. And by the time you see this, I'll have made that decision, because that's kind of what this video is about. But, yeah, so I'm taking a break right now from that, which is a big thing that's been weighing on my mind that I'm not sure, like I said, how to progress on, or exactly how much to invest in. So there's that. There's also the fact that I have a job that actually makes me money, and it's really easy to take breaks at this job. The last job I worked at, you only took breaks exactly when your 15 minutes was, and you ate lunch on time, and you jumped like a dog when they asked you to, or when they rang the bell. All that was a thing. And this new job, I kind of just do it at my own pace, and that is great in one way, because it means I have time to do stuff like this when no one's around, and I don't have many audio disturbances outside of the pets. But it also means that it's really easy to get distracted doing stuff like this. And this, by the way, is my favorite part of this mission. The wall of deposit boxes, which if you want to do this quietly, you either have to have a specific equipment item, which is randomly distributed or purchased, or you spend your time picking each one. Look at that. How fun. That's one. I think there are about, 24 by 5. So that's like 80 something. Oh gosh, 20 by 5 would be 100. So that would be more like freaking 112, you dingus, right? Am I right? I'm not in the math mood right now. I like math, but it's not a good time right now for math. Either way, I'm going to spend some time opening these up, because that's how the mission... this is really the climax of the mission, is going through and picking all of these deposit boxes. So I'm going to enjoy this while I speak highly of my work ethic. So this new job allows me to take breaks a lot, and I do that a lot, and I don't really work all that much. Although I would put out a defense for myself, which is just that I spend a lot of time doing other things. Obviously, I don't spend all my time making videos because I would have videos then. I spend a fair amount of time doing this, but only after, after a day where I've exhausted myself doing other things, either physically or emotionally, and that sort of thing happens a lot in my life for reasons that I won't get into here because it's more lighthearted than that. But yeah, this is funny. This is about the same place where I started podcasting last time, so hopefully this won't take as long as that. And you might hear the controller clicking a lot. Sorry, that's how it is. That's one of those quality things that I'll just take the hit on. So taking breaks. Taking breaks from work is very nice because at work you kind of have to act a certain way. And right now I'm not acting a certain way. I feel like I'm acting more like, I don't know, like I'm kind of talking a million times more than I usually would, but that's also the point of this. But aside from that, I feel like I'm just being myself, and that is refreshing. Definitely when you have a job where you basically have to smile at people all day, and that honestly describes both of my last two jobs, and many interpersonal positions everywhere, including offices and everywhere from offices to retail. It all happens where you have to talk to people. You have to have a particular mannerism, and that mannerism is not really true to yourself 100%. I mean, definitely if you work for retail or even if you work for an office, let's say you're talking to a supervisor, you got to be respectful. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't know. Ooh, gold. I don't know specifically how it is in different cultures or nationalities, but at least where I'm from, you have to kind of give your boss a little bit of consideration in when it comes to societal norms and stuff like that. And so you got to be like, oh yes, I'll get that done. Don't worry about that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Please, and all the rest of that. Things like that you have to do, and it's extra. It's taxing, and when you're on break, even when you're on break in like at your job, when you don't have to worry about the bosses being around, it's like everyone gets to take a deep breath and they get to talk about all the things that's actually bothering them, and in a way that really reflects them. And everyone likes that time, and then the boss walks in and everyone starts grumbling, and go back to whatever watching TV or whatever. But yeah, so I feel like right now I get to just talk regularly and openly and for no good reason, and that's nice. Another good reason to take breaks because you get to do that. Now there is, I guess, a downside to taking breaks all the time, which is strictly just that I don't get all that much done. Particularly, I mean, it's very some cash. Strictly speaking, I'm not making money right now, and I'm not producing anything of merit per se, depending on what you view a let's play for, however many ones of people potentially, well, whatever you would consider that. But I don't really get too much productive work done, and that's for sure, and that's something that I'm kind of trying to work on, and that's kind of like my okay, I won't get into like my ideas for life because I think that's again way too much for this sort of thing. And actually, I mean, I'm surprised, but we're almost halfway through this first wall. I think I've only spent like 4 or 5 minutes here. Yeah, I mean, well, it's probably been like closer to 10 minutes, but I mean, this is probably gonna be like less than 40 minutes, which is surprising, but whatever. That's what sequels are for. Yes, serialization and monetization. Don't worry about monetization. There's no monetization. Um, but yeah, that's what I'm. No, that's not what I was gonna talk about. I wasn't gonna talk about that. I was just going to say that, yeah, this isn't strictly the most productive thing I could be doing, but I'm trying to turn it into a productive thing. And I'm trying to do that with the rest of my life, where I do more productive things that I just want to do because that's what being adult is uh, wanting to do the things that you have to do. And maybe I'm not quite there yet, as evidenced by this, but I'm working on it. So yeah, that's kind of one negative. I don't get too much work done. I'm not very far along in the project that I'm working on. Like if I turn my computer on right now, I could probably like we're like okay, so I'm like 70-ish% of the way done the writing. I have to narrate it. I'm gonna narrate this webpage. Um, I also have another element to it which I haven't started yet, which is the real thing that I'm kind of dreading, because if I start putting work into this, this is like the number one thing that if I get discouraged, if I feel like I can't do it well enough, it's probably going to end up not being real. And so, yeah, hopefully that turns out well, because I haven't started doing that yet. Um, so all in all, I think that's like less than a third of the way done. That's probably like a quarter of the way finished with the whole project. But what I have done is a lot of the groundwork, and so like everything else is based on the writing, which is already mostly finished. And so once I start talking into a microphone like this one, and start getting all of my thoughts onto the hard drive, then I think the rest of it will be pretty good. All the HTML that I need to know, I know. JavaScript, I've learned enough. CSS, it's not going to look the prettiest. I mean, I'm going to do my best to make it look good, but I have very limited experience with making web pages, so it's going to be very rudimentary to say the least. But I think at the very least it will be purposeful, and it will be plentiful, and it will be gentrified. What? Okay, that's not... Oh gosh, maybe my head is not okay here. Maybe this mission actually takes too long, and it actually is boiling my brain slowly, because I mean it's not because I have to talk, because I do just start thinking about random stuff when I'm just looking at all these boxes and I'm just watching this little ring. It's, I get a lot of weird ideas and a lot of weird thoughts, and some of them are Freudian slips, so I'm sorry. But yeah, it's like I'm at that point now where I want to be more productive, and I want to be more active in doing things that benefit myself, not only financially, but also emotionally and like socially and other stuff like that. Like I definitely don't talk to people, I guess, in general. So, I'm kind of like almost at the point where I'm ready to, start doing that again. I'd like to have like an adult like skill, like thing that I'm good for, which I think I have a lot of dabbling skills which don't particularly help me in the real world. Not to say that the things that I'm learning here aren't helping me, just to say that I would consider myself to still be dabbling in this. I'm not, none of my videos are amazing. I don't have anything worthy of singing to the heavens, because I'm just starting out and it's not supposed to be that good. And, whatever. It's the way it is. But despite all of that, I would say that I'm trying to regain my topic. I got lost in the boxes again. I started talking about how bad my YouTube channel was, and then I just, like that's 90% of my thoughts is just when I'm doing this stuff is like, man, I could probably put this on my YouTube channel, but nobody would watch it. But would that be any different? Probably not. And then I just get back to looking at these boxes and questioning my life again. So you're kind of living my hell right now by watching this, if you are doing so. My existential nightmare. It's been 6 minutes, by the way. I like this little timer up there. It lets you know exactly how much time you're wasting. It's been about 6 minutes since the last time I checked in on the time. And now I'm pretty confident that we're going to hit 40. Because this wall will take a while. Like this wall, we're going all the way down to X and we're on N. Yeah, we got some time. Not that there's anything good in here, just a bunch of old crappy books, empty boxes. So, recently, I took a big break from my YouTube channel. Speaking of YouTube and breaks, during that time, one of the things I did was work on YouTube videos, which you might consider to not be a very effective break as per my definition earlier in the episode here. But at the same time, it was like the perfect time to kind of work on new stuff. Like I had a whole bunch of new ideas. I was like, well, there's a lot of things I can tackle from my perspective, and there's a lot of easy ways to kind of implement that. I did a lot of planning and data, which is, my favorite part really of the whole experience. And ultimately, not too much came of it. I originally planned on taking the time to sit back and plan stuff and then come back. I didn't hit my goal for that at all, and I just let it sink. And here I am again, kind of in the same way that this channel is just a reincarnation of previous YouTube work that I've done throughout my young life. This show is kind of just another iteration of Onespar right now, and this is just where I'm at right now. So here you are, here I am, and here we are. So I took this long break, and among other things, I dealt with, creating some new YouTube content. None of it ended up becoming what I would ultimately work on, but, I was glad to have thought of it, and I still don't think that it's going to be gone forever. I think I made some very, decent plans and decent structures, video structures, all that blah blah blah. So maybe we'll see that later. But definitely what I have been also dealing with. I'm sorry, it happened again. I started looking at these boxes and thinking about my YouTube channel, and my brain went away. So the other things that I've been working on during my YouTube break mostly have to do with getting financially stable and making sure that my dad is a functional human being, which is becoming increasingly difficult. But I mean, I don't blame the guy for it. I mean, he has a bunch of medical problems and financial problems and government problems, and I definitely don't blame him for the government problems because the government is gay. They suck. I'm sorry if you're a part of the government, but you guys really need to get your shit together. And I specifically want to talk to the American government and the American ICS, because you guys are just garbage, dog. Like, what's this full year waiting for documentation that you definitely have? I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, I guess it's just because there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on with American immigration. There's a lot going on with people from, other parts of the world and the controversy around that, blah, blah, blah. Listen, my dad moved here in 1958 or 59. All right, he's been around. He just never kept his passport, and somehow that has transformed into this year-long wait for government benefits, which he's been in need of for well over a year. So, yeah, dealing with that has been quite emotionally taxing. And so, because of that, I haven't really been focusing a lot on my YouTube channel. I haven't been given that opportunity. I've been mostly focusing on getting my dad properly situated, and then after that, myself properly situated, because all right, here's how do I tie this into breaks. Okay, so I want to break up with my parents. I mean, I know for a lot of people, they're like, you should definitely milk your parents for as long as you can, and just, you know, for as long as they'll let you, you might as well mooch off of them. And to an extent, I agree with that. Like, what I'm doing right now is definitely mooching. But at the same time, I feel terrible about it, and like, I definitely don't want to stay this way, especially at the age I am, which I won't reveal because it's a lot. It's a big age for me. I'm really conscious about my age, but I feel like I should probably be done living here. I should probably live on my own terms in my own place. Yeah, I think, and it's not like it's not like I have awful parents. Like, I have great parents, and they're very open, and they're very accepting of a lot of stuff, but I can't live with people, like, where I'm ready to be in charge of a household, Like, I have that feeling deep in my loins where I'm like, yeah, I want to be in my own place, and I think I'm ready to be in my own place, and the only thing that's really stopping me is financial independence, and of course making sure that I'm not going to be leaving my dad by himself, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get any kind of living situation where I live right now, because it's very expensive. It's a very expensive area, so that's basically a non-negotiable. But at some point he's gonna. I mean, we got to figure out something to do, because I'm done. I'm ready to be done with. I guess not being a child, but just being a dependent, being on somebody else's food list, on someone else's shopping list. I don't like it. It feels bad. And I know, because I've talked to a lot of people who just don't have this, they just don't have this feeling where they don't feel like it's not a big deal to just stay with your parents. It's like, why not? If they make enough money, and you're not being a total jerk, why not? Why not stay with your parents? But it's not okay for me. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. They've given me everything for my whole life, and I'm ready to return the favor, and I think that starts with moving out. That starts with getting my own phone plan, things like that. And so I'm ready for that, and I'm ready to start making money. And that's why, goddammit, right after I finish this, I'm going to go out and start making money, and I'm not going to work on the website until later this afternoon, after I take my father to a doctor's appointment. But yeah, because, I mean, it's time. It's time that I've made money. It's time that I've become, a breadwinner again. I was one at one point. I paid bills before. I didn't, it's not like I ran myself broke, per se, but, I was able to afford to live for a while. And so I know I can do it. I just have to decide that it's the thing that I want to do. And oh my god, this is the last box. So that's why I'm basically kind of done with this break, and I'm ready to get back to work. So real quick, we're going to take all these money bags to this van. Just got to make sure that no curious passerbys notice us. So yeah, I mean, that was pretty much textbook for us. It's, just bag up all the money, bag up all the security officers, and then just throw it in the back of the van and get the fuck out. Oh, language. I'll cut that language out. That's not good. That guy might notice us. I don't want him to notice us. Get the fuck out of here, my man. I swore again. I can't edit. I don't want to have to edit these, but I don't want to swear on this either because I feel like it's not appropriate. I mean, this is a violent game. There's no place for profanity here. Who knows? I'll figure out what to do later. Already, the audio's messed up because someone called me right in the middle of it. Gosh dang it. But, we'll figure it out. We'll work with it. My computer's actually running pretty well for some reason. Like, ever since we had a power surge, it's like, maybe it had like a hard reboot, but I don't know. But it just runs better. And so I actually kind of don't feel that bad about doing a tiny little bit of editing. But at the same time, I don't want to have to go through and bleep out a whole bunch of stuff. It's annoying. Oh, or what I could do. Ooh, no, I think I might know what I can do. Maybe I can do a little something in Audacity. I don't know. These are all ideas. You see, these are great ideas that I have while I'm taking breaks. See, I never have thoughts like this while I'm working, while I'm actually doing what I want to do. It's always, I'm always kind of just heads down, just kind of doing, bullshit work. Dang it, it's a 3. Yeah, I'm gonna put 3/4 in a jar, and maybe I'll send 75 cents to like the Make-A-Wish Foundation PayPal, or something. I feel bad for swearing. Not that I don't swear every day in my real life, just on stream or on YouTube, on video. During my break, really. Kind of pollutes my mind, I get a little bit of a headache. Like, yeah, it's like bad stuff in my brain. But yeah, hey, look at this. This video did end up being under 40 minutes because there we go, we're done. Whew. So that was cool. That was just a quick little Payday 2 podcast about breaks. This is what I do during my breaks. You can comment on my video and tell me what you like to do during your break, because YouTubers tell people to comment, and then they do it sometimes. You can also like my video, or dislike it. Honestly, I think it would be perfectly acceptable if you honestly came to this part of the video and then just hit the dislike button. I wouldn't even feel bad, and I wouldn't hold it against you. So, yeah, do that if you want. Go ahead and do a rate thing. Don't share it because you don't want people to know that you would watch something like this. That's just a little bit of life advice from me. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. Have a good one.